This video was brought to you by Asia The Amazing Outdoors. Located in Woodridge, New York, you can enjoy the amazing outdoors in the Catskills. There's camping, ATV rentals, ATV riding lessons, guided ATV tours, and much more. Give them a follow on Instagram and shoot them a DM for inquiry. Or you can email them at asianewyork@gmail.com. This video was brought to you by Knafsale.com. This website is for knife lovers everywhere. Anyone in the world can buy or sell knives here on a truly customized platform made for people like us, man. When I listed knives, they asked what the blade steel was, and you get choices right there. They ask you what the scales are made out of, and you got choices right there. The point where I knew that this was made by a knife lover, when I had to select what brand the knife was, and all the brands we know and love were on there. Secure payments and safe shipping. You get tracking for literally everything. When you get paid, when something was sold, when the money is on the way, you get insurance as well, dude. There's a rating system, and if you have a good track record, you're actually eligible for giveaways, which they will do in the future. There's a giveaway going on right now. For the first 300 users, you're eligible to win a TRM Shadow, bruh. That's crazy. And lastly, the customer service is done by real people. I know this because I have been working with Knafsale.com daily, and they get back to me really quick. Forget eBay, forget all these other sites. Head on over to Knafsale.com, where EDC folks buy and sell their knives. Yo, what is good? This is your boy Ray, and this is the Everyday City Carry. And today, or tonight rather, in the case of my guest here, I have a very special guest, Moorlander EDC. I was gonna say it like an uncultured American and say Moorlander EDC.
Yeah, that's it. Moorlander. That's it. Spot on.
I like Moorlander better. You know what I mean? What does it mean actually, the name? Can you explain to people that don't know?
Yeah, of course. So the region of the UK that I'm from in England, I mean, I call it the Kingdom of the Moorlands, but it's actually the Staffordshire Moorlands. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to think of the film now. Is it American Werewolf in London?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, there's those two guys and they're walking across the Yorkshire moors, and the guy's like, "Stay off the moors." So, if you come to England, anywhere that is high grassland is referred to as moorland.
Are you a werewolf, bro?
Maybe, yeah, possibly could be.
That is a great movie, actually. You know, they don't make werewolf movies like that anymore.
I remember that the first scene where he transforms into and you see his fingers and his toes stretching, and the bit comes out of his face. That scared the crap out of me. I remember watching that when I was young.
It's legendary, man. You know, they don't use like prosthetics and animatronics like that anymore. It's all CGI now, so you know, it's a little bit different. So what made you start a YouTube channel? And like, how, you know what, let's go back further. I know in the UK it's a little bit more common to know what EDC is, I guess. And when did you get into the hobby?
You see, there's no real time to just put my finger on it, because I think, like a lot of people, you're just inclined to just keep stuff on you. I don't know if you were the same, but I mean, I started EDC before I realized EDC was a thing. Growing up in the countryside here, there's just nothing to do. Absolutely nothing to do. I grew up in this little village, and the only entertainment was get out and climb trees or go for walks, all that sort of stuff. So it was always a case of, you know, my mum, before she kicked me and my brother out, she'd give us some sandwiches and a backpack maybe, and we just go out.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in the 80s in the Moorlands was like an Enid Blyton novel. You know, we were all like, "Oh, lashings and lashings of dairy milk and custard," kind of growing up. That's what we did. We used to go sailing boats down well, maybe not boats, but just large pieces of wood down the river, and just stupid stuff like that. So that's kind of where it started. Always had something with me that if I went on an adventure as a little kid, I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go and do something." And then it just built up from there as I got older. stuff that I carried for those day-to-day adventures just kind of evolved with me.
Yeah, so it just kind of like improved, like you learned about different quality of things and stuff like
Yeah,
that, right?
and got more expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, so, we always talk about in the US, we always talk about gas station like knives
Yeah,
that like just look absolutely insane, and you used to buy them when you were younger. Did you ever go through a phase like that?
yeah. So we didn't really have gas station knives here, but I know exactly the type of knife that you're on about. Um, I think our petrol stations didn't really they didn't really have that kind of thing. Our closest would be most towns and cities would have an army and navy store, which would be a lot of ex-army surplus, but it was all a lot for the old boys that go out into the moors and they'd go camping. And I remember the first knife that I ever bought was like a buck knife clone. That
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, was it the buck 110 or whatever it
Yeah,
is?
but it was a clone.
The wooden scales with the copper bolsters and the back spring on it. Man, that might have well have been made from tin. You could you could cut grass with it for 2 minutes and then it'd just go blunt.
That's terrible.
Yeah, me and my
Yeah,
brother trying to sharpen it on an old piece of stone or something because we'd seen Rambo doing it, looking cool and stuff.
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
my whole thing
useless.
with for me it was just I didn't get into collecting, like getting serious into the hobby till 5 years ago, and maybe going on
Yeah,
6 now. And I was just buying things off Amazon. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I was just like buying tack forts and like M-Tech type knives that look insane, and I didn't know any better. And eventually I got something that I was like, oh man, this is pretty awesome. It was a zero tolerance knife, the ZT 0456. It was designed by Sinkovich, custom anodization, all the work. So it was $275. It's a lot for me,
nice.
and I was like, man, this is awesome. I got to see what they all feel like now. But in terms of like, how you grew up in the 80s, I grew up actually in the countryside as well,
Yeah,
kind of. So I lived in the Philippines till I was
okay.
about 7. And man, being in the Philippines in a third world country in the 80s, it's like there's nothing to do, bro. Like
Yeah,
literally nothing. Like we would take fireworks and like blow up like cow pies and stuff like that, and like we would have, I guess we had an EDC too, because we would carry like some type of slingshot and like mess with birds or something. So there's nothing to do. So we
yeah,
would just go out and like run around and find snakes or something. But once I got to America, like there was none of that because I lived in New York City my entire life almost, So that
right.
type of backpacky, like outdoorsy type stuff, like didn't really exist for me. But once I discovered, everyday carry and like learning all these things about it, I got super into like the outdoors,
Yeah.
watch stuff like Meat Eater on Netflix. I don't know if you watch that show. I fucking love
I
that show,
I
dude.
know of it. Yeah. We had something similar over here.
Hmm.
I can't remember the exact name, but it was something like catch it, kill it, eat it.
Oh, that sounds like I would watch it.
Yeah, totally. But the trouble was though, they'd get these city kids
Yeah.
that have never seen a cow before, and they were like, "This is what beef is," and they were like, "No, that's a cow," and they're like, "No, no, 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 beef." Or they go, "Right, okay, today we're going to kill a chicken," and they're like, "What? Chicken the meat or chicken the animal?"
Oh,
And
wow.
the rest of the country that's living in the countryside are just like, "What, are these people serious?"
So do you go hunting at all?
Hunting's a bit different over here in the
Yeah.
UK, mainly because, I mean, I'm so envious of you guys and the fact that you've just got so much wide space that you can go into, the
Mhm.
land for the people, that kind of thing.
Right, right, right.
Over here, it's a lot different, mainly and due to the fact that it's a smaller space,
Mhm.
and the history going back through all of the different counties and shires and kingdoms that have all come together. A lot of the land's already owned.
So it's
So
private.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, we can hunt, but we need the landowner's permission. I mean, you could maybe go to a farmer and say, I notice you've got a lot of rabbits. The rabbits dig holes and the sheep break the legs on them, that sort
Mhm.
of stuff. So you
Mhm.
can go and you can ask if you can kill some rabbits. Whatever rabbits you get, you give them half of it, that sort of
Mhm.
thing. Um, But if you wanted to go and like hunt a deer or that sort of thing, it's a lot harder, mainly because you need the permission of the person that owns that land.
Wow. So there's no like tag type system or something. Because in the US, that's what it is. You buy these tags and you go for the season.
Yeah.
And it helps to control the population, and also the money goes towards wildlife like reservation. It's like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. People don't understand, I think. You know, when I talk to, and I don't want to diss anybody, by the way, you know, like vegans don't come after me or something, you know, because I actually believe in like this. It's just morally better for me, like to do this ethical pursuit type hunting than just like buying some hamburger patties at the at the store. You know what I mean? It's like I'd rather get my own,
Yeah.
right? And this is from a guy that's like probably gone hunting like when he was a kid, right? Never gone here. But that feels better to me. Like if I had that
Yeah.
choice, I would do it. You know what I mean?
You also
It
know
goes
the value.
towards what I was saying
Go
is
on.
it goes towards wildlife
Yeah.
preservation, like the tags and all that. It goes back into it. Like actually hunting gives more money to that type of thing than any of these like PETA, like all of that doesn't even compare to how much money
Yeah.
is given by like ethical hunting.
Yeah, and I get that at the point where, you know, I think that's one of the things. I mean, I just like looking into this sort of stuff on the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
But a lot of people here in the UK, they just see, oh, American hunters, and they assume that there's guys going out 12 months a year killing bears,
Yeah.
killing deers, killing ducks. And it's like, no, there's this window, and that's your bear hunting season, and then there's
Right.
whatever windows that there are that you have over there. But yeah, it's a different kind of perception that people here have of how your system is,
Yeah.
similar
It,
to a lot of the media and all that
I
sort of stuff.
learned
It's all
about it from like Joe Rogan's, honestly, like, and some of
yeah.
the people that he's had
Ah,
on
guy's a
there, and they're
legend.
just so knowledgeable, right? And it's like, oh, you know, once I started listening to that, I was like, man, maybe I should learn how to hunt, you know, because I know what happens in the slaughterhouses. You know what I'm saying? And like they just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty bad. So, let me get to some of this. How long have you been creating content on YouTube?
It's just gone 4 years. I think I
Oh,
started around June or July in 2018. That's when I first put my piece of content up.
wow. And you know, how has your experience changed then till now?
I think like I've tried to do a little bit of kind of looking into this and looking back at that some of that original content where I think mainly I felt as though I needed to put on this kind of character because I
Hmm.
was new to it, and I watch a lot of other people. I mean, I could quite easily turn off normal terrestrial television and just watch YouTube. So I watch a
Wow.
lot of other people's stuff, and I felt as though it was something that I needed to create this Moorlander ethos kind of thing. And I like to joke, and I call it the kingdom of the Moorlands, and I'm the king of the Moorlands, all this sort of stuff. But that's kind of where I start. But it just seemed a little bit more theatrical when I first started it. But a lot of the other stuff it's just the knowledge of the different things that you're looking at, whether it's
Mhm.
backpacks and learning about the different materials, whether it's knives and looking at the different, whether it's a back lock, whether it's a liner lock, whether it's a slip joint, whether it's a drop point, whether it's a spear point. There's so many different things.
Yeah.
Flashlights as well.
Yep.
It's a massive, almost like you think that you've spent 4 years learning your craft or your trade, and then you watch another piece of content, you're like, wow, I'm miles away. I've still got so much to learn. And
Yeah.
it's that eagerness to learn as well.
Yeah, for real, man. I still feel like I don't know anything. Honestly.
Yeah, totally. I spend maybe 5 minutes watching maybe like Nick Shabazz, and I'm like, wow,
Oh, he's the legend, man.
there's
You
so
know.
much more to learn, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot out there.
Yeah, watching other creators, I'm like, man, I don't know anything. But then I start thinking maybe I'm creating content for a more like casual audience, because in New York
Yeah,
City, right? I always say this, you know, my EDC or like my knife uses, for example, is like not going to be the same as someone else that doesn't live here. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm in New York City. Like, I'm not out there feathering sticks, brother. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I
Yeah.
want to, but I can't do that. Like, I live in the Bronx and I live in the hood too. There's somebody doing heroin outside right now, probably. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not out there like doing these outdoorsy things. So literally, what I do with my knives is like look at them, fondle with them, flip them open and stuff, cut boxes from Amazon. That's pretty
Yeah.
much what I do. And I guess the majority of what I do with them is make content about it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's really my experience so far. Maybe if I moved somewhere else, like the countryside, it'd be a little bit different. Or if I don't live in an apartment where I can like renovate my house, it's going to be a little bit different. But yeah, maybe do you have that imposter syndrome where you wake up and you're like, man, my channel ain't shit,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just it's that fake it till you make it kind of situation. And I'm always a split second away from someone going, we know you don't know anything. Sorry, that was a weird kind of Joe Biden whispering then for a second. But you're just like, we know you don't know anything. It's just like, maybe they're right. Maybe there is more stuff that I need to learn. And
Your channel
it's
looks
never
great
ending.
though.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really like the natural feel of it. I was watching a bunch of your videos. I started at around 2 p.m. my time. And I was like, I really like the natural feel about it. One of my favorite videos that you did, and I watched like almost all of it, was your knife making experience 2022 video. I thought that was
Oh,
so
where is
cool
it?
the way that you did that. First of all, the knife looks amazing, and I can't even believe you made that. And it's your first time
Yeah.
making a knife, right?
This is my first time making a
That's
knife.
crazy, bro. That is insane, man. I can't even believe that right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's some really nice grind lines.
Yeah, dude, how? I mean, it did. So you said it was 2 days long, right? I do have some
Yeah.
questions. First of all, and have some bullet points here. I really love the vlog style video that you did, and you layered knife making videos on it. And that actually was like the basis of like getting to know you as a creator and like as a person, right?
Yeah.
So I love videos like that when EDC people do it,
Yeah.
because sometimes I'm a type of EDC content creator where I share so much of my life, man. Like literally, like if I have kids and stuff, like I'm vlogging the kids, you know what I mean? And I share so much of about what my wife and I do. My wife and I do the live show every night on Monday, so I share so much about what I'm doing. Like, so when I get to see someone else do it, I'm so invested, right? And I really enjoyed that video. Um, I love the car parts where you were just talking to the camera and then you were just like layering the knife making videos on top, right?
Yeah.
You talked about mental health in
Hmm.
2018. Like, can we
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit? Like, what
Yeah, of
exactly
course.
happened?
Um, so I mean, I can't go into it too much, mainly
Okay.
because the company that I worked for,
Yeah.
rather than actually growing a pair and dealing with the issues within the company,
Yeah.
they paid me to leave and forced me to sign an NDA. So for now, we'll just say that
That's what happened.
something at work happened and it just rocked my world. Absolutely, just nailed me.
Damn.
I assumed that I was a good man, that I was a good dad, that I was a good husband, that so many other these kind of ists and isms, and I started to assume that I wasn't. I thought that I was a bad person. I thought that I was a bad husband and a bad dad, and it got dark.
Yeah.
So rather than getting sectioned and put into an institute for a few weeks, I managed to stay at home and ride a lot of that out. But that's kind of where all of this came from.
Mhm.
There was some really, really dark points where I'd go to, or at least my wife had to go to work. There was just her earning at the time,
Yeah.
and she'd just give me my phone. She'd plug it in. She'd put on someone like Demo Ranch or Kentucky Ballistics, and she just put it in my hands and pray that when she got home, I was still there.
That's crazy.
It was pretty bad. I mean, I'm not belittling. Certainly, when people say that they're depressed, they they may feel down, and there's a position where you feel down, you feel insecure, you feel something inside of you, that anxiety. But then there's like clinically depressed, lying in bed, couldn't talk, couldn't make any sort of interactions with my wife or my two daughters, and yeah, kind of knocked me for six for a good 6 months.
Damn.
But yeah,
How'd you get out of it? You just started doing YouTube, like, because it is an
yeah,
outlet.
no,
I tell people
seriously,
creating content and communicating with people through the internet that are interested in the same thing as you is so therapeutic to me.
massively.
Yeah.
A lot. You certainly read about people in social media. It's such a bad thing. It's bad for your mental health. It's bad for your self-esteem. All of this sort of stuff. And I think in some ways, especially certain types of social media, it probably is. But for me, I'm not going to go all blasé and go, yeah, social media saved my life. But having a positive mental distraction really was a lifesaver. I've said it then, but I didn't mean it like that. But it was a big thing for me. So it gave me. It was like right, okay. So I went to see my therapist, and the line of work that I'm in, I'm very creative in the stuff that I do. And she said, well, why don't you do something that's like work, but not work? Because I know how much you enjoy it. And I said I've been watching a lot of YouTube, and she just, well, why didn't you try that?
Yeah.
And at the time, my wife she was like, oh, you're going to put yourself out on the internet. There's all these trolls. Because I have this stammer that sometimes comes along, and I stutter a lot when my anxiety gets up. And she's like, oh, people are going to be taking the piss out of you stuttering and all this sort of stuff. But it was weird because I'd go on and I'd stand in front of the camera and I'd try and do something, and the stutter would disappear.
Yeah.
Because I just feel relaxed and talk about a bag, a knife, a wallet, or whatever it was. And yeah, it was just this really kind of cool therapy for me that helped me out of this horrible hole and back into society.
I completely agree with you on that, because when I first started my YouTube channel, actually, and it still makes me sad thinking about it, was like when my dad died, right?
Yeah.
And one of my first like YouTube videos that blew up was there was this company called Sarion Knives out in Italy.
Okay.
And they do like a lot of very expensive knives, and they do everything in tungsten carbide blade steel. All right.
Wow.
And this was the first folding knife with a tungsten carbide blade, right? And it was $995, dude. It was a folding knife. It was a flipper, titanium, like really nice inlays. It was amazing. Not honestly, now that I know about knives, not really that good, but it is definitely a high-end piece. Like when you see it as a collector, it's a collector's item. So the reason why it caught my interest is my dad's name is Clemente, right? And this is a Filipino guy, and that knife is also called the Clemente. So I had, an Italian knife company, Filipino father that just passed away. Like I was like, this is, some type of destiny type thing. I have to buy this. And I just got into collecting at that time. I've made one other video, maybe two other videos. And that was the third one. And the next couple of months, I just saved money and like worked on this video. And this video, I poured all my feelings into it, dude. First of all, the music in the background is so sad, and it's like really shoddy lighting that I was like moving the lamp to make it look all, depressing. And it had this really sad piano in the background. And the opening line was, some people say you don't become a man until your father dies. In the text. And it's just like, I'm trying to do cinematic stuff, walking around the city, trying to show like who I am through this video. And then in the very end, it's like a review, right? And that's how my videos were at first. I would try to be cinematic and do a review. And at that time, 5 years ago in the knife community, nobody was doing that. Nobody was telling jokes. First of all, no Asian guy from New York City was making knife videos, okay? Because New York City is like knife hell. That's what people think here. So I totally agree with you, man. It definitely helped me that I had this thing where I could create a piece of content and people were enjoying it. You know what I mean? It really helped me out. And that was, for me too, it was so dark, bro. So I was kind of like I didn't stay home. I was going to work, but like I was just on all the drugs, like literally. But I was like a functioning addict. Like I can truly say that now. And I'm, what's crazy is I'm sober now. I'm like into fitness. I don't even drink really anymore, only on special occasion, like when someone gets married. And I was like going to work, not sleeping. And then I would work on a video for 4 hours and think it's shit, and then work on it for the whole week, and then scrap it and keep doing it again. But the fact that I was doing this thing and making these pieces of content, probably like helped me from not like killing myself or something. You know what I mean? Because it was pretty dark. And so I guess I can say it too. Like YouTubing saved my life or something.
Yeah, it's therapy. It's free therapy.
Yeah, it truly is. And communicating with people that are into this weird thing that we all like.
Yeah.
People think we're weird, man, like definitely like EDC, at least in America, especially being a knife collector, right? Being a knife collector, for example, when I tell people that, because I am doing this for a living now, this is all I do. I don't work anymore.
Yeah.
People are like, what is your YouTube channel about? And then I tell them, I'm always hesitant to tell them, oh, I talk about folding knives all day. And I try to go more the EDC route. Like, oh yeah, I review gear like leather goods, wallets, knives.
Yeah.
And they seem to understand that more than just saying like, oh yeah, I get a bunch of knives sent to me every week. And I just like check them out. It is a weird thing. Like, how does it translate as a hobby? Like when you meet new people and if you like tell them about it, do they think you're like kind of odd?
Well, I mean, yeah, generally I think most people, one of the first impressions is, hi, I'm Randy. And they're like, that's odd. So it's always a good, always a good icebreaker, but I do get I get a similar thing here. So I generally, when somebody goes EDC, what's that about? I'll always lead with, torches, wallets, bags, the kind of stuff that you carry with you on a day-to-day basis and I try and think of some like super corporate-y to address the challenges of life kind of thing. But often I'll go, oh, and I also like knives. And at that point, they like run a mile because over here they like knives. Someone's going to stab me, and yeah, we have a very strange relationship over here with knives at the moment.
Because there's a lot of like knife like crime or something.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I say all, but you go to the big cities, London, Manchester, Birmingham, those sort of places, you've got a lot of wannabe gangsters running around, and they're all little kids. They really are. They're just little kids. And they're just stabbing each other. I don't, there's even like, there was a thing in Manchester, I think it was either last year or the year before, some little kid in a park, she got stabbed, and that was part of an initiation for somebody to go in a gang. You've just got to stab some random person.
What?
So there's, unfortunately, but we don't. You might say, similarly to somewhere like Chicago, you've got a lot of people getting shot in places like that, haven't you? And whether you believe it's X, Y, and Z, but a lot of people saying, it's people trying to get by in life, and they feel that they need to carry a gun to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And these wannabe gangsters, these little kids in large cities, it's kind of the same for them. They feel that to have this status, I'm a big kid on the block. I'm, in this neighborhood. I'm the daddy, whatever they call themselves. I'm thinking of an old prison film that I remember watching. So yeah, they carry knives, but the difficulty is the knives that they carry are, you can walk into Asda, which is like our version of Walmart, and buy a chef's knife.
Yeah.
Wrap it in some newspaper, put some sellotape around it, put it into your trousers, and then you're off. Nobody's walking around with a $700 Sebenza or something like that. It's completely different. But when you say knife, people think
that
knife culture, crime, and all of that sort of stuff. not a beautiful gentleman's folder that's been crafted by the same guy. He's been doing it for the last 70 years and his dad told him how to do it. They just go,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna stab me.
It's the same thing here, man. Even, you know, in New York, when I tell people I'm a knife collector and they want to see what's in my pocket or something, they're always like, oh, you could really stick somebody with this, bro. I'm like, I cut boxes, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cut boxes, and you know, when I'm trying to explain to them, like, for example, I have like a bench made or something, like a mini Crooked River or whatever, and I'm trying to explain to them like why it's $200 some plus dollars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's because, you know, this is the steel and all that. And they're like, oh shit, like it's the same as collecting sneakers or action figures or any other type of collecting type hobby. Like, people get really into it, you know, but it's definitely comes across in exactly that way that you're talking about, even here, you know. So knives in the UK, non-locking. That's the only way it's legal.
See, there's the legal side. So this, I mean, this knife is not illegal. It's perfectly legal to wear. It all comes down to whether you're in a public area.
So if you don't take it out.
If you're in a public area, I mean, you can take your knife out. There's no problem with that. You might get somebody go, well, he's got a knife. But if you were stopped by a police officer and the officer said, can I just check your pockets? And you pulled out, you know, just a slip
What is
joint.
that, a real steel Luna or something?
Yeah, I love this. This was
nice.
This was one of my first D2 knives. I'd not really owned a D2 before this.
That's a great knife, actually. Really cool to give to people. It's like $30
here. Totally.
Really nice.
Not particularly expensive here either. But if you wanted to, I'm just trying to, I've got, the Bonafide from CRKT.
Okay.
So not illegal to own. If I walked into my local Walmart or Asda with this and I was stopped by the police, they'd be like, you know, that's locking, so you can't have that.
Yeah.
But if I was out in the moors, out walking for the day, perfectly legal to carry. I just need to take it out of my pocket if I went into a pub or something like that.
It's the same here. I definitely have to think about things like that. Of course, you can't travel on a plane. That's 100% no. But I am able to check my knives. And so I went to North Carolina. My wife's brother got married. And I was like, there's no way I'm not going to bring knives on me. So I just check it in, right? And then it's fine. But I do always have to think of, like, for example, I'm going to a comedy show, right? Definitely going to have a pat down. You don't want to bring anything on you. I've actually had to throw away knives before because I came directly from work and I met up with the wife there.
Seriously?
And it wasn't even my knife, bro. It was my friend's knife. And I had to throw it in the garbage. It wasn't expensive. It was, I think it was a Migron Knives Verona or something. And my other buddy who, you know, reviews knives as well. There's a bigger channel, Neves Knives. He was like, bro, I have that exact knife. I'm just going to give it to you. So I was able to get the knife back and send it to my other buddy. But you have to think about those things. Like, am I going into a government building? Is there going to be metal detectors? You know, you're not going to go into a nightclub with anything like that. You definitely have to think about those things here as well. So it depends on the place then, right? So even if you have a slip joint, you might not want to necessarily be in a park, like carving an apple with a knife, or is that okay?
No, that's fine. I think, again, it comes down to, I'm trying to see if I can find the So a very British knife is a Barlow knife. This is one from Boker Solingen, German company. So if you pulled that out, or if you pulled out a Swiss Army knife, people just like, it's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
I think in some instances, it's like, does it look tactical?
Yes.
If it looks tactical, then they'll be like, that looks a bit stabby.
Yeah.
Whereas if it doesn't look tactical, and, you know, their granddad used to cut apples up for them with a very similar knife, they don't even bat an eyelid.
I think we get it worse here in New York. I think any knife. Yeah, because people get stabbed with box cutters here. So it's, dude, that's a common thing, actually. In the Bronx, if you get cut in the face, I'm going to teach you some New York slang right now. If you
Yeah.
get cut in the face with a box cutter by a Puerto Rican guy, it's called a $1.50. That is like the
Okay.
special. They do that all the time, you know, when they're trying to defend themselves or whatever. And one of my wife's friends got into a tussle with somebody like that, and then she's like, "Oh my God, they gave you a $1.50." But that's
Wow.
what it is. Yeah. So people think of like edged objects as just like weapons
Yeah.
all the time here. So, you know, if I wanted to smear some cream cheese on a bagel, this is typical New York thing, but then I use like, I don't know, like any knife, even let's say this was smaller. This is an Andela W, right?
Yeah.
You know, people would look at me weird. They'd be like, what is he doing? You know, call the police. And then, you know, you just hear about Filipino YouTuber gets shot by the police. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Suicide by police officer.
I know, right? I wanted to say, by the way, like the knife that you made is awesome, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
It looks really cool. I watched the shorts on it, and I watched that knife making video. How long did it take to make that?
So it was the full 2 days. We started, I got there at 9, finished at about 6 o'clock on the Saturday, and then finished about 6 o'clock on the Sunday.
Was it just you, or was there a bunch of people?
No, it's fully one-to-one tuition. I think for Luke, talking to Luke from York Knife, for him, it's just a great chance to talk to people because he's there all day just making knives on the grinder or whatever, and it's quite an insular thing for him. So the chance that he's got for somebody to come along and spend the weekend with him, and we just like this, we just two dudes chilling, talking, making a knife together. It's just as much for him, and yeah, I've got a great experience out of it as well. But it's fully one-to-one.
That's crazy. And you mentioned in the video, like your company paid for it. Like
yeah, I'm lucky enough that the company that I work for, they have a thing called a personal development fund. Yeah. And what you do each year, they give you a certain amount of money that you can put to, your own personal development. And there's been some crazy things. One lady went on a taxidermy course. One guy went on a rally driving.
Oh, like an off-road.
Learning how to do like a Scandinavian flick and all of that sort of stuff. So part of me was like, maybe I should use this to, I don't know, go and do some Photoshop training or do something that's actually related to my work. Yeah. And then I was just like, no, I'm making a knife.
Yeah. And how much did it cost? Do you know?
So the full knife experience, I think, was, I'm just trying to think now. I think it was 420. It was 420. So when I started with the company, within the first year, you get a certain amount, and then luckily, I'd spoken to Luke about it, and I was able to split it over 2 years.
Yeah,
but for all intents and purposes, it was just over 2 weeks because I put one in the week before my next year's allowance started,
smart.
and then did the next one like that as well.
That's awesome, man. So it was like 420 like pounds or something. Is that what you guys use?
Yeah. That's it.
I'm so
so
I'm gonna look that up right now.
The pound exchange, the pound's doing really poorly.
So $450 United.
Yeah,
pretty good. And you get that all the materials are included in that.
Everything.
That's
so
awesome.
you get to choose the actual knife stock. Everything that Luke uses is all ground flat stock. So there's no sort of forging or hammering anything out. Everything's prepared and it's already annealed so that you can just use it. So there's the choice of whether you want to go for a high carbon steel, which is one that I went for. It's tougher, but if I hit something, then the blade will roll so that I can then put it back to how it needs to be. Or there was another one which was a stainless steel. But there's chance of it chipping and that sort of stuff. So for me, it was a simple decision. But then it was the liners. Whether you want G10 liners, there was the material for the scales. I went for this spalted beech, but loads of other really nice different materials.
Wow.
Or you can go for G10, or you can go for micarta scales, all of this
It
sort of
looks
stuff.
really good for your first time making. I mean, the grind is awesome. Like, what?
So when you fit, and it's the scariest thing ever,
Yeah.
when you've got that belt and it's flying past your fingers. So the way that he says is you hold it on your finger like that, and
Yeah.
then you just smooth it along. But the belt is millimeters away from your finger, and
Yeah.
it'll just grind your skin away until there's nothing but bone.
Yeah.
So
Oh
you
my God.
take the corners off, you take the right angles off,
Yeah.
and then he's got one of those jigs that
Mhm.
holds it in. So you'll have seen me like moving it along with like
Yeah.
a jig sled thing. So luckily that does a very good job of you being able to keep your lines reasonably straight. But the day before, so the first day when we were heat treating the knife itself, there was some other knives that he'd made for some clients,
Mhm.
that he just took that first bevel off, and he was like, well, I've got these knives, so if you want to practice, then I can show you how to do it. So on the second day, when I did it with
Oh.
my knife, I'd already tried a few different techniques, found the one that was good for me, so that I'd kind of hit the ground. I was going to say running, but it was more of a light jog. But yeah, so I was quite lucky that I got to practice a little bit beforehand as well.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I think that a lot of people that are going to watch this would love to do something like that.
I if anybody ever gets a chance or opportunity to do it, then you've got to take that opportunity. It's such an amazing process to go. I mean, it's almost like a man make fire kind of
Yeah.
thing. That first time.
Man make knife.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember the first time I stole a few of my dad's matches, and me and my brother went out into the woods and we set some fires. And we're like, yes.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's like that. You've made a knife and you're like, yeah,
You can actually say
it's
now
sharp.
that you've
Yeah.
made a knife, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That is insane. So we talk about shorts a lot in our little group chat, by the way, right?
Yeah.
With
There's a
all
lot of
these
chatting there
other,
about shorts.
I'm going to say this right now to the guys in that chat, actually. So I am in I would say 2 other chats like that.
Yeah.
And that is my favorite one because
Oh, sweet.
I am more in tune with you guys there. Like when we talk about what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And like what we're trying to do, we're trying this, we're trying that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try that too. Like I feel like it's more well received because
Yeah.
I think we are actually content creators in that group.
Yeah.
Some of these other groups, I think people are just like they make content, but they have this like I don't really care attitude.
Yeah.
Which is a different case for us. We're like trying stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been talking about shorts lately, and I watched a couple of your shorts, and I saw this EDC weapons video with what's that maker that you talked about?
Dies in every film.
Yeah, dies in every film. And I saw you
Yeah.
holding this one. I don't know what it's called. It was like a spiky, like cricket bat or something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's I think it's from like a Mayan Aztec
Yeah,
kind of thing. They had these, yeah, like you say, it's like a cricket bat, but in the sides they
yeah,
had channels that they put bits of sharp rock into, and then put some sort of tree bark or tree
yeah.
resin into it, and yeah, it stuck them in there.
I met a guy in Hawaii. His name is Koa Studio. He's a great channel too. I'm just plugging my boy here right now. But dude, he makes insane weapons like that, and I'm sharing it with you right now. Look how
Oh,
crazy
nice.
this
Yeah,
is,
with the
bro.
shark's teeth.
Yeah, this guy is crazy, and he's just like cutting stuff like this is forged in fire or something. Like, dude,
Yeah.
look at this happen. What? Look at this, like just crazy Polynesian Hawaiian weapons.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? I lived
Yeah,
in New Zealand for a few years when we got married, and
yeah,
you go to a lot of the Maori places, and you go in and
mhm,
you see the whole kind of culture that they've got there, and then you turn around and you see this wall,
yeah,
like like you've walked into someone where and they've got like one of these gun rack walls where they've got everything, but there it's like, wow, you could really
like 'em,
torture
though.
some dudes with this sort of stuff. The stuff that they've got there is just crazy.
You ever watch that show Deadliest Warrior, where they would pit like different warriors from history against each other, like the Japanese versus the Yakuza or something, the Yakuza versus the mob, or like the
they'd have a
Maori
samurai versus a
yeah,
Roman gladiator or something.
yeah. That's what this
Yeah.
reminds me of right here, man. Like, look at this dude, man, awesome. Koa Studio, definitely check them out, guys.
Yeah,
if
I'll
you
definitely check
haven't,
that one.
look at this, he's just cutting up ballistic gel.
But that's the kind of thing that Dies in Every Film does. So a lot of the sort of stuff he started out making, his channel's grown quite a bit. He started out repairing like random scales from the 1950s and that sort of stuff, but then got into making knives. And he still does his custom knives side of the stuff that he makes.
Yeah.
But then somebody was like, "Oh, you should make like an old trench knife, or you should make an old trench club." And so that's what he's done. So a lot of those kind of things that were built in the trenches out of old ammunition during World War II, he'll make this little club that's got bits of metal coming out of it, and
That's
just crazy
awesome.
stuff like that. Or stuff that you can go to. I'm trying to think what the American. Is it like Lowe's? Is that where you go to buy like hardwood and bits for your taps
like
and
Home
plumbing?
Depot, probably.
That's that sort of place.
Okay.
So he'll go to somewhere like there, and he'll be like, right, okay, what sort of can I make a mace out of something that I can buy?
And this guy's on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh, awesome channel. Dies in
look
every
him up
movie.
right
It
now.
dies in every film.
Every film. Yeah, this platform that I use is pretty cool. I don't think it's the best quality, but the fact that we could just watch videos together is like pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Let me check it out right now.
I'm really this whole kind of setup's really nice, isn't it? The fact we can see each other.
Yeah, it's not so I believe it or not, like the service I used to use before was StreamYard. I think it's $49 a month, dude. This is $15 and it's better. Yeah, I found really it like after. So wow, look at this kinetic mace thing. What the heck?
Yeah, that's the one that he did last.
Oh my god!
So
what is happening?
So he's
awesome.
He's an ex-squaddy. So squad is from the army here in the UK. Yeah. And he just got into this. But one of the I know we're all a bit daft here, and we don't mind doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, so we do stupid stuff. Don't worry, on this channel.
there's a lot of this sort of stuff where we'll cut to somewhere else, and you'll see Deadpool grinding on an axe or something.
Damn, this is like good content, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he gets some serious views as well.
He's got things going on right now.
Yeah.
Wow. And he turns this into that bat thing.
Yeah, he'll turn that into a mace. Or there's other ones, like I say, there's trench clubs in there. There's other maces. There's different knives. I think there was one that he did. There was a four-headed axe.
Four-headed axe
that he attached to a chain and nearly took off his own leg while he was messing with it. And then at the end, he tests them out in forged in steel style.
Forged in fire, kind of.
Yeah, right? That's it.
Oh man.
So yeah, imagine if that was your noggin and that hit you.
Thanks for watching me build the twisty flail thingy. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it.
I'm subscribe right now. This thing is awesome.
If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate
it. Awesome. Get a thumbs up, yo. I have a question for you, actually. Pertaining to content creators, which American knife YouTube channels do you watch? You said Nick Shabazz already. So is there like any others?
Yeah, Metal Complex.
Good old MC, man.
Yeah,
he's crushing it. He's crushing it.
I love that interview that you did with him when he brought out that huge.
Do you have that? This Ford is crazy.
Oh, where have I put it? So one of my favorite knives.
Yeah,
because they're just so. For us here in the UK,
it's traditional kind of right.
Peasant Mini.
Ford, yeah.
They're just a very popular knife, and friction folders just purely because you can hold that there, and it's getting less chance to cut. So I made a piece of content, and I talked to the Canadian Ford guy quite a bit. So he passed my content on to the guy in New Zealand that makes the knives. So he sent me this.
That is wait, does he sell that?
I think he does.
That looks crazy. That's like the Opinel that Metal Complex.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I've got to stretch quite back a bit.
That is awesome, man.
It's
that
like
is insane.
The guy she tells you not to worry about.
I know, right? Right. That's crazy. I wonder how much that costs. I'm gonna look it up right now. Actually, giant knife. Let's see. Giant peasant knife. It is $109. That's crazy. That is insane.
It's a beast.
That's crazy. Like, do you use it at all?
No. Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've got it. I mean, I've got some bags I could put it in, but you'd have to strap it to your leg or something to have something like this.
So you said you were really into bags, right?
Yeah.
What would you recommend for like a city dweller, like type of backpack?
Ooh.
I have a lot of slings actually. I watch, what's his name? There's this guy on YouTube, and if you look up bag reviews, like he does them.
Okay.
What's his name? I'm gonna look it up right now.
There was a guy
that he like Chase Reeves, bro.
Yeah,
you know
Chase
about?
is he's really
So I got a lot of bags from like his recommendations. I bought like an Air, like Daysling 2 or something. Chrome Industry stuff is what I use right now. But like, do you have have you reviewed any slings, or is it just
no, any real type of bag? Definitely check out Alpaca gear.
Yeah, Alpaca gear. Which one?
Well, I mean, there's quite a few. The vast majority of their slings are just absolutely amazing.
I've seen these on Instagram.
Yeah. Alpaca
are good.
Are in Australia. Oh, absolutely amazing. I couldn't pick a fault with them whatsoever. All of their packs that they make, all of their slings are incredibly well thought out. Really, really well thought out.
I need to get. Oh man, I'm gonna spend money again because of you now. I've been really interested in this company actually because I've been seeing them pop up on my Instagram, and I was wondering if like this is just a fluke or something, or are they really?
No, they're legit. Yeah, really good company, and they've got one for every size. So like, there's the guy there that you can put like an iPad into it. You can put like a laptop into some of them as well.
Damn, I was like in a sling bag like phase, I would say last year, where I was just watching sling bag videos every single day, man. And I'm like, I don't know which one to get. I decided to get the Air Daysling 2, and it was always sold out.
Nice. Yeah, they're hard to get.
Yeah, and then I got one, and then I was like, man, I need a bigger one. So I bought a Chrome Industries, which has the seat belt.
The fastening thing like off an old airplane.
Yeah, I got that one instead, and it seems to be more my speed. Not a lot of good organization though. I just needed like size because I always carry a like a battery pack or something to charge my phone. I used to carry 2 phones. I don't anymore, but I always need something like that and some wiping cloths and stuff. There's no organization in that Chrome Industries bag. This one is pretty good though.
The organization in these is brilliant. Yeah,
the Alpaca gear.
You've got several little pockets. I'm trying to see if I've got one. I haven't got one with me or near me. But yeah, they've absolutely amazing packs. Really, really good.
I'm definitely gonna check that one out. Now, there was this one knife that you were looking at in your videos, the Who Knives Who knife, right?
That I was really scrummaging around to see if I could find this. Turns out while I was setting my little setup here, it must have fallen off my desk. But
it is a flipper, but it is non-locking.
Yeah.
Is it like double detent or something? Or
yes, so double pin detent on the sides. Really strong. There was this is the version 1, but it's almost like the version 1.5. There was a few things that they just wanted to update from people that had bought one of these.
Yeah.
So the second production batch that he did, changed the detent on them and just moved the angle around. So where the stop pin is, they switched whichever side that it was on.
Yeah.
Which actually meant that he could move the detents up and give them a thicker arm so that they could pinch it. But it's
Nice.
still a slip joint, but yeah, it's really nice.
That sounds awesome, dude. That sounds really cool, actually.
The flick out on it, I love. So the CVV Elementum,
Yes.
absolutely amazing knife.
Yeah.
And the action on that is just, the first time I had it, I was like, wow, that's a sweet knife.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's M390
90.
steel.
Yeah.
And the scales on here are titanium scales. So you've almost got a little bit more weight in that flick, so that when you actually get it out there, there's almost like this little kinetic kind of push against it, the inertia that locks it into place. Really
that sounds
really nice
really awesome, actually.
Yeah,
because I am
great.
a bit of an action snob, like when it comes to knives, like because that's what I do with my knives, man. You know, and I'm going to show you this crazy one right here, actually. This is probably the coolest knife I've ever like played with, man.
So I saw that. Yeah,
this is the Winter Blade Co. Factor right here, and it's carbon fiber on the back. You got a titanium clip, and this is the D10 is magnetic.
Wow,
it's insane. So like you press this, or you can use the deployment hole right here.
Yeah,
and it just sounds insane. Like listen to that.
That is slick.
It's not mine, so don't be jealous at all. It's not mine, bro. This is a review model, but this guy, and this is M390 as well. This guy just comes up with this stuff like on his spare time. Like he'll all of a sudden, you know, on Instagram, he was like, "Hey guys, I created an out the front, an OTF knife, like automatic today." He'll just like show you. But this is the one that I guess has come to fruition the most, and it's really sought after here right now. Like you can't get these; they're so rare, man. Yeah, I really like it. Probably the coolest one. But yeah, I'm a bit of an action snob, so the way that knives sound to me is like very important.
Yeah,
and
100%.
when I heard that, Who Knives, man, I'm so bright now. I gotta turn this. Yeah, it sounds awesome. Yeah. I was like, oh man, and the price is not too bad. It was like under 150, right? It's like 140.
Yeah, so I think these are 135 here, which is about 150 there.
Yeah. It's pretty nice, man. I definitely like that. All right, the final thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna play Sharp or Dull, and we're gonna close off the show. It's the last 5 minutes, all right? So I'm gonna put some knives up from Blade HQ's sort of slip joint section that I've kind of selected here. And you're going to decide whether they're sharp, meaning they're great, or dull, meaning they're absolute trash. Okay, so we're going to go right now. Here we go right here. So this is the Browse Blades Minakami limited edition. It's $64.95. You're looking at D2 blade steel, right? This is the backside right now.
Now I'm gonna go with an A for effort, but yeah, that one's a bit dull. That one is. That's
I couldn't even, bro. I couldn't even believe it.
That's a knife only a mother would love, isn't it?
I was wondering, like, am I missing something? Because I'm not a big slip joint. I'm not like a slip joint connoisseur or something, you know. But I've never seen this one before. And it's Browse Blades.
It's designed for something like, you know, when you see like a fisherman uses a certain type of knife for that sort of stuff, doesn't it? But
why would you have that? I guess if you were fishing, like in a slip joint only like country?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know. But wouldn't you have a fixed blade then? It's it says it's reminiscent of a barbershop style razor. No, it's not. I mean,
what sort of barbershop style razors?
It
makes me wonder where this guy's been going to have his face cut.
I don't know, like in Star Trek or something. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
All right, we're gonna go to the next one here. So this is a dull for both you and me. We're gonna go to this, and I think you reviewed this. This is a SOG Terminus LTE slip joint.
I love that knife. I've got it here somewhere.
All right.
Yeah, here. That's definitely a sharp.
Nice.
The detent on this knife is possibly the strongest detent on a slip joint that I've ever come across.
Wow.
Super safe knife. Rather than doing the pinch detent,
Yeah.
you know how you have with a back spring.
Yeah.
So it's similar to a back spring, but the springs are within the liners. So within here, as it goes round, the spring opens up inside,
Oh.
so that when you get a lock, you get a really strong lock on these knives. These are that's a sharp
Nice.
all day, every day.
So which one do you have?
I have that. So I mean, I have a few. I have that one. I
Mhm.
also have the which version is this? This is the X.
Is that the carbon fiber one or?
It is the carbon fiber one. I'm just trying to remember which model. Yeah, so that's the Terminus XR.
Oh, that's the one with that the little the different lock. It's like a switch, right?
Yeah, similar to like the
kind of like the crossbar lock or something, but it's just a switch instead. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
Nice.
can do the
Man,
whole
mine
kind of
isn't as smooth as that.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, yours is so smooth. Mine is like, I think I have the budget one. That's why it's not as good. That's really smooth, man. Wow.
Yeah, Sugg sent me those. I was really chuffed that they managed to send me one of those.
So you do get like companies seeking you out and sending you stuff. And
yeah, I think it's another thing that I envy you guys. I think because a lot of companies over there, they're US companies, and you've got a larger market.
Yeah.
I think you guys managed to get a few more knives than I do. But there's definitely still a market here, and they want to send me knives.
Yeah.
There's a UK company down in South Wales called Henny Haynes.
Oh yeah. My friend worked with them. My friend Paddy's potato peelers from Ireland.
There you go. Yeah,
he works with
the
them.
sound guy. So they do. Whenever you see these knives, and they're all the red versions.
Yes.
So this is the Henny Haynes version, and then that's a Henny Haynes.
Dude, I have one. I have a CRKT Pylar.
I've just got
the red one. Yeah. Yep. Wow. Oh, that's the one. I have that one.
Yeah.
Dude.
I found on Etsy there's somebody doing glow in the dark 3D printed spacers.
Oh, nice.
And you can get them for so many different knives. So you just charge it up, and you've got a bit of glow in the dark bling on there.
Awesome, man. That's great. We're gonna do one more. Okay, we're gonna do like a big boy one here, and we'll get you out of here. All right. Let's see. So this is a little bit more expensive, a little bit more luxurious, I'd say. This is the PMP Knives Harmony slip joint. It's a anodized gold titanium, $190. You're looking at M390 on it. I don't like this wired clip though. Like, why is it wired, bro?
Yeah, they could have improved on there. I think if anything, I'd totally take that off there.
Yeah.
Mainly so that you can just have those really nice clean lines through it. But yeah, I mean that's sharp. I like the look of that. It's got a really kind of traditional look as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's a slippy. You can have it. Oh, what's the blade length restriction over there?
3 inches.
So this is right there.
Yeah. So as long as it's 3 inches or less, or 76.4 millimeters, whatever it is, then yeah.
Oh, it's pretty light too.
You can have those.
2.8 ounces. It's not bad. I'm gonna go sharp on this, man. This thing is freaking cool. I like it.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I like it. It's really awesome, dude. Thanks for being on the show. Totally appreciate it. I'm gonna put links to this guy's channel, and you have Instagram as well, right?
Yeah.
Drop that in the link. Follow Moorlander EDC. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for doing the show.
Thank you for having me. And I've genuinely really enjoyed this. So we'll earmark another one. We'll
100%. We're gonna do another one. This is your boy Ray, the Everyday City Carry, and Moorlander EDC saying peace.
Yo, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so we can squad up in the comments.